brought in that machine, people probably figure it wasn't, something new. People are accustomed to the old analog, want to hold on to the old way of doing things. But if you're not changing, the business is going to leave you. So you have to really be keeping up to date with what's happening in the digital world at the time.
Do you share the view that the digital changed the sound of reggae?
I would look at it is that each studio had its own unique sound at the time. A computer is going to give you the same, everybody the same sound. Your engineers is critical in digital area. It's very critical in what to do. So I personally prefer the digital era because I can see the music. When I look at my computer, I can actually see the music as opposed to just hearing the music in an analog situation. So I can just look at a song and a word is wrong and I can just pinpoint that word and just correct that one word by seeing where it is in the song. So it makes my job easier. It makes my job easier in the fact that if in the final mix of a song, I might come in tomorrow morning and I might not like where a keyboard is positioned in the song. I don't have to start from scratch again. I just recall it and fix that one situation. In the analog time, I had to start the mix from all over again and it's going to sound different. It's not going to sound the same way it was the day before. So I would the mix. If I love the mix, it will always be there. I can just change one situation that I need to change.
Why the name Penthouse?
It was just because the building was on the top floor of the building. Really, there was no other reason.
Do you have a favorite genre? Rocksteady, reggae, dancehall, mento?
Say I love all form of the music. But if you catch me, if you come in my vehicle, you hear me listening to some 70s soul music. Because I think that creatively and with melodically, that was one of the most, the time where some beautiful songs came out, People were in love that time. I know people themselves, people in feelings now, at a different time, People were in love. So I find myself still listening to those songs because it keeps my ear in tune to nice melodies.
I asked you about Mento because of that project that you did, original Jamaican music.
Rod Dennis.
Right.
Yeah.
Why did you feel you needed to create a CD of Mento songs?
Because, like I say, I love all genres of the music, and I figure if I'm having a catalog, it should have a little of everything inside there. That's why I actually did a soca song with I don't remember this gentleman's name, but it used to be Byron Lee. So I just figured I should have a little of everything inside of the catalog.
So let's go back now to Penthouse and starting out with artists signed to Penthouse and working with you. Wayne Wonder, Tony Rebel, Garnet Silk. You worked with some of the best. Buju Banton, who's still with the Marcia Griffiths.
Barry Salmon is actually who I haven't worked with in the industry, And like I said, you see, one of the things that the artists coming to Penthouse have an understanding is that if the song is not up to scratch, I'm not going to put it out. Because I tell a lot of interviewers that at least 25-30% of the work that I've done, the world has never heard it and will never hear it. Because whatever I put out, it should be representing the artist and representing the label and representing me by extension. So it don't make no sense I'm going to have a song just because like I might have a Buju Banton song from 10-20 years, I'm going to put it out and I know it wouldn't represent him today. I wouldn't put it out.
What are you looking for?
Quality. Because if when I look back at the music, people like Studio One and Duke Creed, they are the one, the foundation of the music. And if we don't try and maintain the quality of the music, what's going to happen to the next generation? It's a matter like a relay, They pass on the baton to the next generation. If what they do with it now, if they want to drop the button, there's nothing you can do about it, But you try and make sure you hand it over in good stead to them. So That's all. That is my position. You know, so even when, like Rabbi Shakespeare, before he died, he told someone, boy, you know, at a respect about Germaine, no matter how hard the business become, he never leave it. Because if everybody run and leave the business get hard, it's going to collapse. So somebody have to stamp inside there and soldier it out and go through the hard times. Because at the end of the hard time, there must be some good times. It can't, you know, if we really be consistent with quality. You know?
What are the challenges? I mean, we look on and it's glamorous, but what makes the business hard?
The business become hard when you can't get airplay. You invest your money, you can't get airplay. You know, and it's even harder now because of the every one of us studio now by virtue of the computer. So there's no really no quality control involved with it. A man just go in the studio and make a song and he just put it up on YouTube and give him friend on the radio, and so you find that there's no quality control. You have a lot of substandard songs out in the marketplace, and you know sometimes a good songs get lost out there.
Does that worry you that there are so many, as you term it, substandard songs? Is it going to hurt the reggae brand?
You know, sometimes every business goes like a purge, you know, and I think at some point it's a cream rise at the top. So business can purge itself, you know. It can purge itself. And only people who really committed to quality, they really come out of it and be standing up at the forefront of it.
There was a time when piracy was threatening the music. Is it still a major problem with the digital distribution now?
A good question. I really give that era much thought in the like the piracy was more rampant in the 70s, 60s, 70s. I think with now you have more control over your product by virtue of the IR whatever number that you're assigned to your songs now. You know, you have much more control over it. So it's not like, say, somebody can pick up something and press it somewhere in the world and you don't even know. You can have more control over your products now.
The streaming, is that helping artists, labels, producers to earn from their creations?
That's one of the problems. The royalty rate for streaming is minuscule. You understand? So where artists make the money is really on tour. You know, go on tour and stage shows. Because unless you have a monumental hit, you really not going to see much from streaming. You know, so as producers, we have to struggle with that fact that we're not earning as much as we used to earn before because of streaming. Normally, because you sell a record, you probably earn more money, but streaming now is cents. You have a whole heap of streams to really make any money from it right now. So we have to just make the adjustment as producers, and we have to, when we would probably take a chance with an artist that you figure say might be, you tend to, boy, I wonder if. So in that situation, it kind of create a problem with us as producers. Recording artists, I probably have given them a chance. They probably would have probably worked, but at the end of the day, you're investing and it's not coming back to you. At some point, you have to stop that.
The music that you have produced, do you have things that you're very proud of? Your favorite? You felt that this is it?
You know what I'm proud of? I am proud of the fact that all the artists that I've managed, they have their own house, so they can go in and go live in that. That's what I'm proud of. You know, I'm in an industry that I've seen so many artists get good opportunities and end up making it end up in a bad situation because of how they handle the situation when it occurred. You know, So I am most proud that the artists that I have, they are at least having a house that they can go into and still can put food on their table. To me, that is my proudest moment. Not about this, not about, cause I can't say I'm proud of a song, I think, but you're proud of the person who made the song.
Do you look for, are there special characteristics that you look for in an artist when you decide whether you're going to produce or manage them?
Yes. You have to have a unique sound, something that is not out there. Because it don't make sense to record something that is already out there. But we try and audition people different ways, you know, to see their adaptation to a certain situation, you know, musically. And the temperament too. Because I interview you because I don't want no bad man artist. I want an artist that really is focused on being successful creatively. You understand me? So if you and I are having dialogue and I see, just by a virtual conversation, I see, well, you know, my spirit don't take you because of your demeanor and things. I'm not going to record you. Because at the end of the day, when you come to a producer, you're actually asking the producer to take his cash and invest in you. That is really the first situation, you know. So if I'm not comfortable, I'm not going to invest in you. Because sometimes I can see some artists, some people, when you see them, you see trouble right away. They might be talented, but when you have interact with them and when they make space for that, you know you don't want to be a part of that. So sometimes I know I can't record everybody, I know I can't make all these songs in the world, but what I want to do when I go in the studio, I want to have a good time making the music, and you as an artist have a good time making the music. I don't want the aggravation, because aggravation and music not go hand in hand.
You've spoken about developing relationships with the people who you manage and produce. Why is that important?
Because it makes your life easier, you know. When you have a relationship outside
because there's
of the studio.
some managers who say you shouldn't mix business and...
No, but a relationship with me is a pleasure relationship. It's a relationship that I respect that you can have a conversation outside of the studio. It don't make sense. Every time I see you, I put it in the voice room. And also, like I said, I record young people. So at the same time, if I understand the young people, exposure is different from mine, who I grew up in a first world country. And I will prepare them to go and function in a first world country. Because when I'm going to play and go to do that show, they have to, it's a first world country they're going into. So at least they must have an idea how to handle themselves in a first world country. So the time, just in the days, they might come to record, I will just sit down there and talk about life. So don't talk about it, if you earn $1, what you would go and do with this $1. So that means say, when you earn this $1, you have to wonder what you're going to do and make foolish decisions. At least you have an idea what to do with the $1 when this $1 come your way.
Let's talk about the relationship with one of your most famous artists, Buju Banton. How did that develop?
Well, I remember he came to the audition, and when I came to the office, and Dave Kelly played a song for me, and there's a song named Man for Dead and Informer for Dead. And I remember going inside my office and I said to Dave, say, sound good, you know, but you must try and make some different kind of lyrics instead of that kind of thing. So the thing about it with artists and myself, you know, I try not to interfere with them creatively. I guide them, I tell them certain things really not really first world ready. Because there's some songs, you know, you make them, it's really going to stop right at Norman Manley Airport. It's not going to go up on the plane. And at the end of the day, you want to go up on the plane to earn some money. So he was always ready to work. That's what that would impress with him. If you ever read him, you see him coming like a book and him must go through the book. And him not going to leave that studio until him find some lyrics to put on that rhythm track. So I kind of impressed me a lot. I said, boy, this youth are really, really committed to, him just don't come there with one song. But numerous songs coming inside here And I'm going to make sure him not leaving that studio until him record that song. So it kind of make you realize that this kid really committed to the craft. He started to grow, and the lyrical content started to change, and you realize that yes, every generation gets a special artist, you know. Every generation gets a special artist. So Buju was the special artist of his generation, and we just gave him the room to grow. So one of the first things we did with Buju, you know, went out and he started to make some money, and received the money and bought him a house, cash, to take away that out of head space. He could just concentrate on making music. He never have to worry, say, where him going to live. I bought Buju Banton a house before I went out to myself. And tell people that be laugh. I bought him a house before. When I bought him that house, I was living in a rent house. You understand me? But it's when you see it was destined for greatness, you can see from that time. You just have to put the infrastructure in place for him to be great.
Let's talk about another relationship with Dave Kelly.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Dave Kelly now, that's when the time I was commuting from the States and recording at Tough Gang. He was the apprentice at Tough Gang. So when I, you know, every time I'm throwing up some little thing, and every time I said, just leave the things, because I'm not worrying about if I'm going to mess up something in what I'm doing right there. You know, I keep saying, leave the thing. But at the back of my mind, I'm planning to have my own studio. And I'm saying to myself, say, this youth is the youth I want in my studio, you know, because he seemed to want to explore sounds. That is why when Penthouse, when I started Penthouse, he was there, he was the engineer. I took it from Tough Gang and brought him to Penthouse. And taught him production, but creative, bad. But and he was committed also to quality. I must tell you that. Dave will come and he'll mix a song tonight, and he'll come in the morning, you see a sign on the board, please do not touch. Yeah, so you know it's not finished. And when he might call, I must listen to it, and I might say, well, this one change, that one change, I'm going to change it. Tomorrow morning, you come and remix the song again. Because if he did it himself, he figure say he could have done a better job with it. So he was always striving for excellence. You know? So Dave Kelly, one of the best engineer out of Jamaica. You know, I can't say that I know where anybody can refute that.
Is it a pity that you're not working together as you used to?
Dave migrated, you know. You know, and like, here's the thing about it, you know. Again, all the people around me, I encourage them to be entrepreneurs themselves, you know. Because like myself, like I say, somebody gave me an opportunity. So I always encourage them to go into production for themselves. I don't have a problem with that. Because the people might selling music to, you're going to make a difference for other people. You know? So I encourage them to go into production themselves. I give them the students, say, into this day, the two engineers that I have there, I say, try and produce some songs for yourself. The studio is there, use the studio.
What role did Gussie Clarke play in your success?
Gussie Clarke was my mentor. When I was living in the States, I was a Casey old boy, I can't live with a part there, you know. when I was living in the States, Gussie gave me songs to distribute for him in the States. And at the time, I'm a young man, and Gussie believed in me and would give me songs to release. So then I wanted to be a producer now. I used to follow Gussie to the studio because, like in anything, you know, apprenticeship is good. You know? So I used to follow him and watch how him interact with the engineers and the artists and the musicians, learn all the jargon. And I have a little bike, a little F1, a little bike, I'm right part of the place now. And many through Kingston going up a challenge one all the while. When I come from America, I used to stay by his place. So me and him go down and him watch how the thing go. And then decide, so it's time for me to really try something for myself. And then go in the studio and start do something for myself. You know, he really taught me a lot about the music industry. And I remember one of the things that I've lived by to this day. Gussie said to me, Germaine, it's not every dollar you see put in front of you from music, you must take it. Some of them you want to give it back. And I've lived by that. Don't lose sight of that. Not every dollar you see put in front of your music, you must take it. Because you take some dollars, the aggravation that come with it, you want to give it back. So I've lived by that. And just like I said, that every artist, I have a very popular artist right now, incarcerated artist, I stand up in a little studio for one whole day, Slipe Road. And never just go forward in the business.
Because you saw trouble ahead.
Yeah, the meaner man. Yeah.
Where were you born?
Nelson Road, off Walton Park Road, Whitfield Town, Kingston 13. And
what sort of childhood did you have?
Well, at no time I thought I was poor. As a child. Because the food was on the table, I'm always playing with my siblings. I think I did normal, in a normal childhood. I went to Trenchtown Junior School because my aunt was a teacher there. And then I was there for about, from 7 till about 9. I was at Trenchtown Junior School, and then I went to Vast Prep. Because again, my family was teaching at Vast Prep. So I went to Vast Prep from 9 till probably about 12. When I passed common entrance for that great institution on North Street.
We shall not be named.
I shall name it.
and you're still involved with KC to this day?
Yes, we graduate but never leave. So I'm actually part of the management that runs the entire football program and the track program at Kingston College now.
So when you're not doing KC business or music, what do you enjoy doing?
Watch football on TV. And I go to any game that you see in the National Stadium, I am there. Whether male or female, I am there. I love football passionately.
Did you play it in
Yeah, I
school?
played Mind Cup for KC. Yeah.
Garnet Silk
Yeah.
was another of your success stories at Penthouse. How would you describe how Garnet Silk developed under your leadership?
When we brought Garnet Silk to Penthouse, that time his name was Bimbo. And I remember we did the audition. You know, there was certain quality you could see in him, but he wasn't quite ready for recording. So I remember I told him to go back and continue practicing his craft. And then he came back. When he came back, boy, man, just decimate the world. Yeah, man, come back wicked. And I'm going to tell you this, what I remember about Garnet Silk. He's the first artist that invited me to his house for dinner. That had never left me. A student just called me and said to me, Mr. Germaine, come out the house and invite you for dinner. That time, Lovey. Shocked with about it, but I still went because, if an artist, extend that invitation, I went up there. And so it's just sad that how it ended for him, but because if he was still alive, it would be something else. Quality of the artist. And he believed every word he sang. That is critical, He believed the words he's singing. It was not like a frivolous situation. I remember even Marshall Griffiths told me that I don't sing certain words in it because certain words they can teach self-flesh. So even now, even from those situations, you come into my studio now, I don't want to hear about a bad mind, sing about a bad mind and things like that. I don't want to hear that because we can't play for some folks abroad talk about bad mind. So let's say it's not going to waste time and record a song like that. Find different topics that universal, man. Find songs that will transcend time. That's what that is must be the objective of an artist. Find songs that will build a catalog that 25 years on the road you can sing it. Remember when Buju came back from prison, and they concerted in the studio. The song that he was singing was 20 odd years old, you know. There was not one new song in that set, you know. Just like show you the power of a catalog.
A catalog like Barris?
Yes, man.
Barris is one of the people you work with.
Barris still have to sing on that song in him live. He have too much song, he can't sing the song them for everybody, but everybody love. So Barris again, let me tell you, say every generation get a special artist. Barris is a special artist of each generation.
I wanted a word from you though on some of your other artists, such as Wayne Wonder.
Wayne Wonder, great human being. Always helping the other artists in the studio. Always helping the other artists. When a song has been written, and you figure it is always having an input in it to try to make the song better. Also committed. You know, that's what I think of Wayne Wonder. Always trying to help. Probably on the record, Terra Fabulous about 4 songs. You know. But the first song that he did for Penthouse, actually, I remember he came in and then Buju actually did the demo for him. And then he went to go and learn. He came there as a youngster from school also in khaki clothes, you know. Fabulous.
Buju helped him with his
This
name?
is the first song, yeah.
And his name as well?
No, and then he came as Terra Fabulous, but Buju helped him with the first song that he recorded for Penthouse.
And Rebel, Tony Rebel?
Yeah. Rebel elder statesman. No, the thing. And you see, Rebel was a culture DJ from that time. So you find that in the early part of the 90s, I'm going to give you a story. I call it in the name. So every Friday evening, they have some sound man come and they want songs, songs, and they want dub and tone like thing like that. And I remember one of a disc jockey, I'm from a very popular sound, came into the studio, and he wanted some song from Wayne Wonder and Buju. So I said to him, so what about Tony Rebel? He said to me, "Oh, something on a Tony Rebel song, man. Him say pure culture I'm sing." And Tony Rebel was right there. And he never know Tony Rebel. So when I know Tony Rebel must have felt bad. I remember when he went through the door, I said to Tony Rebel, "Skipper, well, I mean, I bother you, you know, because I say when your time come, you'll be around forever." And so said, so done. Because Tony Rebel is still relevant to this day. You know, and accomplish a whole lot. You know, you have to, as a producer still, you have to see the quality in what artist can bring to the label. Wayne Wonder have the love songs, Paris have the love songs, Master Gibbs have the nice, pretty songs. Buju have the culture, the very lyrically potent songs. Tony will be a culture artist. So everybody brought something, a different dimension to the label. You know?
Roots Reggae was, you know, talking about social issues, mainly empowerment of people. Do you think we have lost something in our music? Has it become too commercial? I mean, doing it to make a buck instead of being on this mission to...
Maybe I've lost some of that, yes. We have lost some of that because, again, that comes from the fact that everybody just have a computer at them house and record a song. So there's no guidance. There's a song that I wrote now with Sugar named Dear Mr. Government.
Hello, Mr. Government. This is a call from the ghetto. Please don't
That
forget
song that,
the poor people.
you know, having people you want to say you're saying things against the government. It's not so. It's a song that is talking about the plight of the people. That people song, that political song. That people song. She just using her platform to tell the world what the community is saying. Some people might want to think it's political. It's not so. It's just a people song. So what I think happened with the music now, it's like this trap music. It's an American derivative, but you can't carry something from Jamaica to America. Then we accept that because they have it there already. So you can't there. You know, for the last 5 years, this trap music. Which one of them you hear making an impact in America or anywhere else? It's just Jamaica. So they find that because the youngsters them are coming into the business now, they do have the guidance of the previous generation to help steer them doing their own thing, which we don't mind, you know, because every generation has their own new sound. But at the same time, you must be making something where that you say commercially viable. It's not that it's too commercial, because Bob Marley's songs them it was more commercially viable than Bob Marley songs. But they were dealing with issues which with the songs of today not dealing with issues. It's more some man sing about how much money you have and how much girl you have, and so music's supposed to be a vehicle where if you whatever mood you're in, you must can find a song to really help take you to the mood you're in.
Why is it that the young people don't seem to have the guidance that they need?
Because, like I said, the proliferation of everybody having their own studio. So there's no quality control. There's no relationship building. No, because I'm in the room, I'm alone inside the artist make a song. Why, like I say, they don't learn from the previous generation. Like I tell you, I was an apprentice ago, say. So there's no apprenticeship being served now. I have a computer and him have a little drum machine, make some little loops and him have a song out on the road. Would you tell him this song could have been better if he did this or did that? Him not have that option because he's not making himself available for that.
But when you look around at some of the young people, who do you see as future stars, future ambassadors for the music?
Undoubtedly Rami and Virgo. Chris Martin, Chronix, Jesse Royal.
What about Dalton?
Dalton not really into recording any music. He want to be into plays and stuff like that. So that's where that space is at. He's not really into reggae. And yet I used to have to try and get him to sing reggae. But the thing about Dalton, you know, I have to give him credit. He accomplished the goal that he really wanted to. You have to give him credit for that. And he went out and he fought and got it. But him just didn't want to sing reggae. Can't figure his voice was, you know, his voice wasn't about reggae. But a talented youth, one voice, bar none, one of the wickedest singer. So
the future of reggae in good hands?
Yes.
The state of reggae is at a good place now?
If it's in the hands of the people that are told you before, it's in good hands. And hopefully, all the people making the trap music at some point will realize that we gave the world something different. They must try and maintain what we gave the world. Because you can't, we give you something, the world, something, you're going to do something else, the world. Something else. We give the world reggae, try and improve on reggae. Just like when the man from ska to rock steady, all the different ones come up. But you going to make something where the Americans are making. So if I ask you now, tell me some songs that resonate with you right now. What could you tell me?
Some of the older ones.
There you go. There you go. So that making the songs not really sticking to you, not resonating with you. You have a whole heap of songs out there. But still, no, I'm saying that you have people that are making good songs, but you know.
Which part of the business do you enjoy? Producer, manager?
Producing. I like the idea of getting an idea and bringing it to fruition. And then you see the reaction of the crowd to what the idea that you have. That I prefer. Managing, the part of managing that I like is the traveling. You know a lot of new places and stuff like that. So sometimes late night, the show supposed to start 1 o'clock and you're there till 4 or 5 o'clock and the show don't start, and you know, in the airport, waiting for flights, and yeah, it kind of gets you after a while. But I love producing.
Are you a family man?
Yes.
How many children do you have?
4.
Does the music take you away from them?
Yes. It takes a special woman to be with somebody's music. Yeah. So what you have to do, you have to involve them in what you do. So like my wife now, she basically takes care of all the correspondence. She takes care of all the financial aspect of my business. So at least she have an input in what's happening. She's part of the journey.
Are the children going to join the family business?
No, that's a problem with the hustler race. That's one of the black man's problem, you know. Continuity of what we start. Because the kids invariably want to do something else. Because they might not like what you do.
You are coming from a clerk to owner of a label.
Yeah.
When you look back at that journey, how does it make you feel?
Well, like I said, I feel that I've been successful in what I chose to do, and I've had a comfortable life from it. I have been a lot of accolades came with it, and I think I've impacted a lot of young people's life. So, with that, you know.
So the Penthouse catalog?
But I'm to it.
Well, I want to hear your views on it.
You know, so I would rather somebody outside say, well, that catalog is good, you know, as opposed to me going and meeting match and say, yes, I have a good catalog. You understand? Well, I'm a trademark, you know. I try to maintain a level of humility, because over the years I know the industry that I'm in, how fickle it is, and things will change drastically. And I also know the public can be very vicious. You understand me? So if you go there and too much hype, God forbid a situation, man, you think come back down to zero. You don't say, remember one time when we used to go on? Yeah. So I try and maintain a level of humility, because like I say, I'm in an industry that today can have kind of the biggest project going, and tomorrow you can't find a song and people don't, you know. That's the reality and the business that I'm in, you know.
Is there somebody that you haven't worked with yet that you really want to do some work with?
Chronics. I would love to work with that artist.
Why?
He's the special artist of his generation. But one of the things, the thing again with this, the drawback with what's happening in the music industry right now, is that a lot of these young artists, they want to produce themselves. And sometimes, when that is the situation, they have taken objectivity out of the process, because they're emotionally involved in the project. So when you're emotionally involved in the project, most of the time objectivity gets lost in it. You know, and that is why you have a producer, you have a musician, you have an engineer, you have an artist. But when they don't want to work with producers because they want to do everything themselves, after a while, they become a seamless in what they do. Because you know you need the guidance again of a producer to say, no, maybe you can try the song this way, or maybe you can try a song that way. They don't have that because they just have that way, the original way that them have it.
It's been 50 years in the
Yes.
business.
Yeah, this is my 50th year in music. 1972 I started working at record shop. 5 years, I can't believe it.
Do you think about retirement?
No. No. I am not retired. I am going to the last. No, sir. Retire go do what?
Manage a football club.
But I am managing KC, you know. So and doing music same way. So I have it's look here. You must have a reason to get out of your bed and do something every day.
And reggae music is your reason.
Yeah, and football. I'm doing a KC.
What are the plans for the future?
The plans for the future is to keep making music, or I will be at KC for as long as I can. But at the same time, I want to spend some more time with my family. You know, because you know, a lot of sacrifice was made over this journey, but them understand, because that is what put food on the table. So I just want to spend some time with family and still do the things that I love to do.
Do you plan to write about your life and experiences?
Yes, actually, I am in the process of finishing up a book about my life, because I don't want somebody to write about me, because they don't know me, and they don't know my journey. So I'm actually in the last chapter of a book, my book.
What are some of the memorable moments
Me?
along this journey?
Well, to have a gold record, to have 2 Juno, which is the equivalent of the Grammys in Canada, to have national hits in the United Kingdom, to get an OD, to get a Luke Silver Musgrave Medal, and to produce a festival song with Bujo, you know, and to be part of the JCDC as a board member, you know. So these are things that, you know, at least is a acknowledgement of my value.
Thank you so much.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you.
I'm a living while I'm living to the Father I will pray. Only Him know how we get through every day. Only I in the price. I'm a live we have to pay. While our leaders play, all I see people are rip and a rob, all are grime. Thief never love is a thief with long bag. No love for the people who are suffer real bad.
This is Glenn Titus Campbell, and you're watching Reggae Month TV. This is Glenn Titus Campbell, and you're watching Reggae Month TV.
Reggae Month TV, on air, on cable, online.
Well, this is Sing It Riley alongside the lovely
Tana.
Yeah, and you're watching Reggae Month TV, and we live a reggae lifestyle right all year round.
Every day, all day. Every day, all day.
I love you just the way you are, girl.
My man, me tell you him, I'm making everything when me give after him. My
in the reggae studio with our reggae ambassadors as they reveal the other side of the reggae beat outside the spotlight.
Another thing I saw in visions right in front of my eyes. Sisters prostituting, selling away their lives. They get but very little pay, the ones who clean the mess. Minority that sits on top just rate themselves the best.
My name is Keith Anderson, a.k.a. Bob Andy. Born 28th of October 1944. I feel like I went into the FBI. I'm in retirement era of Kingston. So that's why I was born in St. Andrew, just below Crossroads there. Life is a very strange evolution to this day. From the earliest recollections I have of being is, I'd say, must have been about 2 years old. I remember that I had to walk a second time because I felt gravely ill as a child. And so I don't have much recollection of my earliest walking days, but I just knew that between age 2 and 3 thereabout, when I had to make efforts to learn to walk again, I could have been about 3. And I became aware of who my mother was, and there was no suggestion or talk of a dad. My mother used to work up our camp. Those days, the British Army was stationed up our camp in Jamaica, and they were in charge of the West India Regiment. So there was a battalion of British servicemen here, and so the head of the army, all of that would be headed by the governor, and then the army, which was the brigadier, and then the colonel, which was Colonel Johnson. My mother worked with the colonel as a cook and butler. After the camp days, one aspect of it, I remember living on Gem Road, which is Kingston 13, with my mother. And I remember Hurricane Charlie in 1951, when I was 7 years old. I remember moving from, Hurricane Charlie was one of the most devastating experiences I've ever had. People talk about Gilbert, which was really rough too, but you can imagine being 7 years old and encountering something as horrific as my first hurricane. I remember Mrs. Smytle, the woman who owned the yard we lived in, about 6 o'clock the Friday, she just says, "Miss Daisy," which is my mother's name, "look at the sky, we're going to have a hurricane." And the sky was just red all over. And what I can remember about that Friday night was my mother was on her knees all night and just had me by her, and she was just praying through the storm. And then we moved from Gem Road to Fitzgerald Lane, which was the other side of Maxwell Avenue. And that's where I remember started going to what we'd call private school, where you learn about ABC and you buy stretcher and asham with your lunch money. And when I remember, whilst I was living on Fitzgerald Lane, I had received a drum red, white, and blue drum from the Johnsons, which was a military drum, which was my first association with any kind of instrument, and the desire to express myself through that kind of medium. So I mean, with John Connor was marching on the streets, and I'd be hitting my drums, playing my drums with my 2 sticks, and I went miles away. My mother lost me because I lost her because I mean I was just going wherever the John Connors were going. One afternoon, a tall, very dark, maroon-looking woman walked into the yard, and I didn't know who she was. We lived in a tenement yard of about 4 families, the owners of the house and the land, and a separate house where they had 3 tenants, and we were one of those 3 tenants. And the lady worked out to be my grandmother. I was only to learn that later in the evening when she came, and she just packed a suitcase with my belongings, and I was off to Westmoreland without anyone making any kind of statement to me or asking me how I felt about the matter. I was shipped off to Westmoreland.
To feel it, you've got to feel the soul down inside of you. You've got to feel it twice times. One more time. It says, and if you're to feel it, you've got to be clean. You've got to make it straight. You can't be lean. To share the joys togetherness can bring. To the true soul, you'll just have to cling. Then you will feel it. You'll feel the soul, the soul, the soul inside of you. You've got to feel it deep down inside. To be true to one another, to be kind and gentle to each other, to give your best when it's asked of you. Do what you've got to do when you're supposed to. You've got to feel it. You've got to feel the soul down inside of you. You've got to feel it. I can feel my soul. I can feel my soul. I can feel my soul deep down inside. It's the way I live my life. I try to live it clean. don't wanna believe, so I can always feel my soul. I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel my soul. I can feel it, feel my soul. Sometimes I feel it in my mind, at times in my heart, at times in my body, and every single part of me right now. I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel it. I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel my soul.
My grandmother must have loved me dearly because I had at that time my first demonstration of love, more than even my mother, came from my grandmother. So I started appreciating that relationship. And so I went to my grandmother's church, which was Baptist, and started off going to school in Westmoreland. And I was obviously a bright child because I remember the kind of reaction and responses I used to get from my teachers. And so my grandmother died, and my mother came to bury her, and someone asked, she remarked about having to take me back to Kingston. And someone said, well, you want to leave him with me? And she said, oh, yes, you want him? And I said, yes. She said, okay. And so I was just shunted to another family member. And then I started going to another church with this family member, my mother's aunt, which would be my grand aunt. And her church was Salvation Army. And I remember playing drums and tambourine in Salvation Army, so I became musically active. And there was no children's choir as such, but we spent long hours in church. One of the things my memory of church was very boring and drawn out. And so while these country people would sing these hymns, and they would sing them very slowly and very, and so because I had to be there, I found another way of singing these songs. I found myself another note just to stay in touch. And so I was expressing my knowledge or a feel of harmony, which I didn't realize I was doing then. And so I did quite a lot of singing in the Salvation Army Church. And then things got very awkward with these grand relatives I was living with, and I just ran away to Savlamar. The family that took me in Savlamar, the guy had 19 children, and I was number 20. There was a member of that family who was a blue seam policeman. And I dreamt early the Sunday morning that he came to me and said, they're here for you. You have to leave. And as I woke up out of my sleep, someone came and said that somebody was outside to see me. It was my grand aunt. And she was most perturbed, fretful and worried. She said she's going to take me back to Kingston to my mother. And she did that.
My resistance is getting weaker. I just can't stand the pressure. I can't be any weaker. I've got to find me some of the treasure I need. Nothing to be a man, because I was born a man. I deserve the right to live like any other man. It says very simply, my mind's in such a state. Sometimes it makes me sick. At times I try to hate, but I just don't know the trick. I need nothing to be a man, because I was born a man. I deserve the right to live like any other man. I just want the right to live. experience has taught me wisdom. Thank God I've got some life left. I'm getting out of serfdom. My soul has stood the test. I need nothing to be a man, because I was born a man. I deserve the right to live like any other man. I deserve the right to live like any other man. I just want to live so that I can give. I just want to live so that I can give. Give up my heart, give up my work, give up my love. Every day, anywhere, anytime, no matter to whom. I just want to live so that I can give. I just want to live so that I can give. I just want to live so that I can give to you, you give to me. That's what life is all about, giving and taking.
I went back to school on my own volition. I just went with somebody in the yard who was going to Russell Primary School, and I said, listen, I'm coming to school with you. And I went to school, and the teacher asked me, the headmistress asked me, I said, listen, I outlined my situation, and I said, I didn't know how I was going to fund my lunch and the rest of it and bus fare, but I needed to be in school. And she empathized with me, and she said, if you bring your birth certificate, I'll admit you. And so I went, and I just, very assertively said to my mother, I need a birth certificate. And I guess she was embarrassed into giving me lunch money to go to school, whilst I was so intense about it. Funny thing about school, I'd missed so many years of schooling that by the time I went to school, I was placed in a class based on my age and not my learning. And so whilst I was able to grasp the verbal suggestions from teacher and the relationship with the students in the class, study habits I did not have. And I'd missed so many steps as far as the formalized educational process was concerned that I was just grabbing at straws. So school was for me just a way of keeping myself off the street. A club called Champion House, corner of Maxfield Avenue and Lyndhurst Road, which was close to it's on Maxfield Avenue, and Maxfield Park was close by. So I used to go up there and watch. I remember the first time I saw Clement Dad. I didn't know who he was then, but he was conducting, what you call it, oh man, sometimes some simple words just fly out of your head. He was auditioning singers for his newly found record label. And so I saw people like Alton and Eddie, the Charmers, and I distinctly remember Tony Gregory. Do you know who Tony Gregory is? He was, and still is, one of the sharpest entertainer this country has ever seen. I mean, he really had style. And after the audition, he was playing the piano. And I watched his fingers, and I went home and tried what he was playing, and it worked. He was playing a 12-bar blues, and I started playing at an F sharp, which is a black key on the piano. And that is where I picked up my first association with sound. And then I went to another church again because I was with this family, and her son was going to the Kingston Parish Church. So I became a member of the Kingston Parish Church and a member of the Scout Troop. It's a very disheveled and unbroken, and no particular pattern to that kind of life, but I was just feeling my way through life. And it was at Kingston Parish Church that I met Tyrone Evans, where the harmony that I discovered years before in the Salvation Army Church became evident, because one of us started singing the song by Alton and Eddie. We were at the Ward Theatre, going to a church picnic, waiting on the bus at the Ward, when my friend started, if I had a pair of wings, and I just started singing the harmony. And so we just looked at each other quite strangely, as if questioningly asking, oh, you know that too? And so we interchanged the harmony, so we knew that we were onto something. Our voices blended, and we just took any of those duets and just sung them. In the Kingston Parish Church Hall, there was another piano, and he and I used to, and people used to just crowd around the piano and we would just sing. And we recorded that song as a duo. And then we decided that there were some very strong duos at the time. There was Alton and Eddie, there was the Chalmers, there was Keith and Enid, there was Joe Higgs and Wilson, there was the Blues Busters. We were just flat out intimidated by these powerful singers, so we decided maybe we should become a more numerous group where we could pull on strength and the security in numbers. And so we formed different groups with different young men, teenagers. The group was once called the Binders. The group had about 2 or 3 different names before we ended up with the Paragons. The name was given to us by junior men's who were to later sing with the Techniques the song of Queen Majesty. Junior Men's, Errol Men's is a guy who's, after he left the Paragons, he gave the group the name. He went to New York in the early days, went to school with Little Anthony and Imperials, Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers, the early doo-wop days. And when he came to Jamaica, he told us about an American group called the Paragons that was defunct. And he left the name of the group. And so the group changed Leroy Stamp, Pele, Henry Buckley, who was to later on become the bandmaster for the Police band, and Trevor Tennant, who was an Excelsior high jumper, who was the bass singer. And then Tyrone and myself found Howard Barrett and another singer, Leroy Stamp, who I thought was not a compatible member of the group, though he could sing. And we were rehearsing as a trio when someone told us about John Holt, who was already quite a popular name and a more established voice. And so he came into the Paragons. We started singing with the Mighty Vikings weekly. And so we became a household name in Jamaica before we did any recordings.
I am rich cause the sun shines for me. I never cry cause I know that the rain falls for me. I live like a king though the salary I earn is thin. I realize money's not all there are other things. So I can sing down do 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 do. All I need is to always be free. If people would leave I alone, I could simply be me. The moon shines at nights, the sun is always out somewhere. I have the assurance these blessings will always be there. I can sing now, do 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 do. do. I am rich cause the sun shines for me and you and me and you. I never cry cause I know that the rain falls for me. I live like a king, though the salary I earn is very thin, so thin. But I realize money's not all, there are other things. So I can sing now, do 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 I'm a very rich man, cause everything in life is free, belong to me, like the birds that sing, fish that swims, and the stars that flicker in the skies at night, the sun that shines, moon that shines, they all are mine. The air, very air I breathe, everything is mine. I live like a king, cause every single thing is mine. Every little thing is mine. Mine. Everything is mine.
When we went to Studio One, and I'd played all these, I was playing the piano and rehearsing the group, and Dad was most impressed with how tidy we were. We had good harmonies. We were a disciplined set of youth who were going to school. Very much a little bit different from the youth that he was accustomed to. We recorded our first single with him, a song I wrote called Love at Last, which went #1 on both charts, JBC and RJR. Then we had the interest of Ratliff Butler and Desmond Chambers, who both worked with RJR. And we used to just drive around and drink a lot of liquor. Just at the various bars and just having good times. And these guys, these announcers made sure that our records got played in the air. And so Love at Last became a #1. And then we did a Drifters cover, Follow Me, which became strong on the charts again. And 1965, that was. The group became a little bit peeved with John Holt, and they separated. And we brought Vic Taylor in as the lead singer. 1966 was the year when it was the first time they were going to have established artists in the festival song competition as against amateurs. To be like an amateur exposure. But that year they invited a broad spectrum of artists to submit songs. And so the Blues Busters were a finalist. Paragons were a finalist. Joey Higgs was a finalist. Winston Samuels, Derek Harriott, and the Maytals. And so we brought Vic Taylor into the group for the festival song competition. And the songs weren't necessarily anything about the festival either. And festival was won that year by Bam Bam. And after the festival, a member of the group came to me and said, Vic Taylor is a very good singer, but John's voice was more compatible with what the group intended to do and intended to go. And I agreed. I just decided that if he were coming back in, though, I was going to leave, because we had different ideas of how the group should go and where it should go. And so I was very distraught because this was my support group, not just as singers, but these were my close friends. And I left and went back to Coxsone, who remembered me as the utility person in the group, who arranged the harmony and played the keyboard so we could rehearse and wrote the songs. So I forged an alliance with Coxsone, and they went to Duke Reed, Treasure Isle. When I went to Coxsone, I started taking out records, pack up the box with the records and the books and take them to the shop, sign them out to the shop, and hurry back to the studio to watch sessions in progress. I had a few songs that I had written, but when I saw the Ken Booth and the Wailers and Delroy Wilson and those people in the studio, I was intimidated. So I reckon I'd give the songs that I wrote to other singers. And so the first two songs, I gave one to Ken Booth, I Don't Want to See You Cry, another one to Delroy Wilson, Impossible Love, It's Impossible. And I just started writing songs for Marcia. On the bus back from taking records out one day, song To Experience came to me. Bam, lyrics and melody. And I went back to the studio and recorded the song with Delroy Wilson in mind. He didn't turn up, and so I voiced the song myself.
The girl doesn't want me around. She's got something to hide. I think she wants a clown, someone to take her for a ride. And I'm telling her that I'm too experienced to be taken for a stroll. I'm too experienced to let someone wreck my soul. I'm too experienced to be taken for a ride. I know that it's not my foolish pride. She hates the sight of me. Why? Because I turn her off or down. She's always saying that we weren't meant to be. Somehow that little girl thought I was gonna be her clown, telling her that I'm too experienced to be taken for a stroll, too experienced for someone to rock my soul, too experienced to be taken for a ride. I know that it's not my foolish. Take it, won't you? the girl doesn't want me around. I don't know why. She's got something to hide. I think that little girl wants a itty bitty clown. Someone to take for a ride. But I gotta tell her to experience, to be taken for a stroll. To experience, to let that little girl wreck my soul. To experience, to be taken for a ride. I know that it's not my foolish pride. To experience, to be taken for a stroll. And to experience, to be taken down the road for a stroll. To experience, to be taken for a ride. I know that it's not my fault.
Studio One, I did a lot of background vocals for a singer from the Bahamas called Owen Boyce, that have a harmony for Marcia Griffiths, and writing. And till I found the courage, or had enough, felt secure in myself as a more rounded person now, songwriter, singer, to be able to do my recordings. And so I did those recordings when I was with Coxsone. And I did 12 songs whilst I was at Coxsone. And those songs constituted this Babandi songbook. And till as we speak, it's still one of the best-selling albums in Jamaica's music history that was done in this country. I used to get some money from taking the records out because I was employed as a record carrier. But then once I started spending more time doing these harmonies in studios, whatever, whenever they had harmonies, they'd have me putting on the harmonies, 2, 3-part harmonies, put one on, they just bounce from tape to tape because they had 2 tracks. As against when Tyrone Evans and myself did our first duet at Federal Recording Studios, they only had a mono system then, so it was just 1 track. So you had to rehearse with the band, and then the next takedown was the live take. At Coxsone, I encountered stereophonic movement for the first time. You're able to do all of the band on 1 track, and then you're able to do the voice on that, and then you can bounce a track onto something else, and then do another harmony. So I learned all of this multiple tracking at Coxsone. So I was learning to produce, to do, to be able to do harmonies on my own, and writing, and whatever else was to be learned there. And people used to come to Coxsone on a Friday for measle or meager pittance, whatever he would hand out. And after a while, we have records being played on the radio. It wasn't hunky-dory to not get paid for it. So although we didn't know of any artist who was getting any big pay, not blaming it all, blaming all of this on Coxsone, it was just the order of the day. It wasn't a business. He was a man who had financed his own recording studio and was spending money with using musicians to back the recordings, to accompany the recordings. So most of the money he was making those days was from his sound system. But I was taking out records. So I know a song like I'm Going to Put It On. I know that song sold thousands because when a record was released, the first thing happened, the jukebox, when there were lots of jukeboxes in Jamaica those days, would order 1,500 records on white label, blank label. So he made his money back in the first 1,500 records being sold. And I used to take these records out until he bought a Volkswagen van that Sonny used to drive. And so there wasn't a need for me to take the bus and take records out anymore. There's an American producer by the name of Luther Dixon, who had produced people like Chuck Jackson and worked with One Scepter Records, which was owned by one American jurist called Florence Greenberg. And Dan Warwick used to be the main artist on this label. And One, there was a subsidiary label. And Luther Dixon was responsible for some of Chuck Jackson's successes. One of the big songs of the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, a song called The Prophet. Do you love with all of your heart, just for a day? Well, Luther Dixon was responsible for that song and some others, and he came to Federal Records to work with them, produce. And so he covered a song to Experience and let them say it, which they call Bayo Papu Papa Vaya, recorded by his artist called Eddie Lovett. And so I remember myself as the first Jamaican artist to have had his work covered by a foreign act. But then the Couriers and Luther Dixon took credits as writers for my 2 songs. And so that is my first exposure to piracy. People downright stealing your work. In the mix of that, however, they had recorded a rhythm sung by a Canadian singer-songwriter called by the name of Joe South. And they had a rhythm at Federal Records for a while, and someone recommended me to them that I'd be the best person to sing on that with him, which was the first song I was going to cover. The song was entitled Games People Play, which was recorded in 1969, and that just became a monstrous hit for I. And so that was my first solo exposure. And I had all those songs with Coxsone that were selling, but they weren't as huge single successes as Federal Records. Harry Johnson from Harry J Records, who Marcia Griffiths knew for a long time. He had a band called the Checkmates, and she used to sing with the band. Harry J invited me one evening to come and listen to another rhythm, which was a recording of Young, Gifted and Black. And I'd invited Marcia along. And the intention was for me to sing the song on my own. But Norris Ware, Judy Mowat, Marcia Griffiths and myself were in the studio. So we just arranged the harmony, Young, Gifted and Black. And I asked Marcia if she would choose to sing parts of the verses, and she said yes. And we sung the song, and I totally forgot about the song. That was in early 1970, I think. And like 3 months after, Harry Johnson came to us and asked us if we had passports. And we said, well, yes. Why? He said, well, the song was becoming a big hit in England, and they're going to need us to go on Top of the Pops. And so Marcia and myself were off to England in the spring of 1970 to represent Top of the Pops, Jamaica music on Top of the Pops. And I guess you can say the rest is now history, as they often say. In 72, we did another recording called Pied Piper, went into the charts again. Marcia Griffiths and myself did the whole European stint, doing various television shows to promoting the album. Elton John was a guy who was around in the times when we were on our tours. He was doing these television recordings too for his taping for his first single that I remember, the Barda song. Holy Moses, I have been received. I have seen the spectre, he has been here too. So we saw Elton John being groomed into becoming a superstar. We came back from England and I did some recordings with Harry Johnson, because by then Marcia Griffiths and myself had gotten a contract with CBS Records. But we were the hottest thing in England at the time, because then Desmond Dekker was hot, Jimmy Cliff was hot, but Young, Gifted and Black, Bob and Marcia were definitely an item. And Johnny Nash's manager negotiated a contract with CBS. And I came back to Jamaica, and Marcia and myself did an album, very good album. And CBS shelved it, and we think they only signed us up because they wanted to push Johnny Nash. Not that he wouldn't have been a mammoth success on his own, but they were trying to have an American boy singing reggae music. So if they removed the authentic reggae artist out of the way, then it would be easier for them. Because CBS, whom Johnny Nash was signed to at the time, just signed us up, paid us a small advance, and just shelved the album. And so by the time I got back to Jamaica, I was just disappointed, disillusioned, and out of it. And Bob Marley was on the rise, recording at Harry J Records. As soon as he got his act together and worked out his direction, he decided that for whatever reason the Wailers had a parting of the ways, and he decided to sing with backup vocals, and so the I3 evolved. And so Marcia went to do the I3 thing, and I just didn't do much music for a while.
Don't realize so let them say you're mad. They don't know how it feels to be sad. Yeah. No place to lay my head, don't even own a bed. Can't remember when I've eaten bread, and it was true back then. They don't seem to realize what really keeps me alive. It's the power that's so great, no man can destroy. They'd like to understand just where I get my helping hand. So they criticize while I look and live to the top now. Babu ba, babu babu baba ya, babu babu baba ya, babu babu baba ya, babu baba ya, babu babu baba ya, babu babu baba ya, babu babu baba ya, babu baba ya. The people see me acting strange, they might think it's a burning shame. The people don't realize the pangs of hell that I feel. So let them say I'm mad, they don't know how it feels to be sad. I don't know who could be glad in a situation like this, when my last shirt's torn off my back, but that's not quite the fact. My shoe is down to my soul. No place to lay my head, don't even own a bed. I can't remember when I've eaten bread, and it was true back then. But babu babu baba ya, babu babu baba ya, babu babu baba ya, babu baba ya, babu babu baba ya, babu babu baba ya, babu babu baba ya, babu baba ya, babu babu baba ya, babu babu baba ya. Talking about life, that's what life is all about. Sometimes when it face you, takes the heart out of you, but you got to keep moving on, cause you know there's a power out there that will guide you to your destiny. Ba ba boo ba boo ba boo ba boo ba boo ba 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 do ba ba ya. I became a member of a drama group in University of the West Indies, and I did various drama workshops, 1 or 2 plays, and then Lenny Littlewhite had me audition for the film Children of Babylon, and we did that, and that is history. And I registered a company and formed my own record label and just started doing my own recordings. Did an album called Retrospective, album called Freely, an album called Friends, but I was always doing everything on my own. So I never had a team. And you don't make it without being an individual in this business. To pick up my solo career then was very difficult for me.
Coxsone had by then compiled songbook, and songbook was keeping me in terms of the strength of the songs, which I mean, I knew I did the best I could whenever I tried to write a song, but I quite honestly didn't realize the potency of those material. When I started realizing how strong they were, I just said, okay, I want to leave it business for a while. And so this resurgence you see me at now. Then I had a long stint there when I just couldn't get any stage performances. I wasn't having a good time on stage. So no band wanted to work with me after a while, and I didn't want to work with any band because I was very much a perfectionist. And I hated to hear after 2-3 rehearsals to go on stage with a band and they were playing something differently. And my emotions were very outspoken and people didn't like that. I wasn't tactful or hypocritical enough to grin and bear it. So I just fell out with the music fraternity, and so I just stopped doing shows. I just went abroad to live.
Just take these chains away and set me free. Remove my outer bondage and we will agree. Too long I've been a slave, I refuse to be anymore. I'd rather dig my grave than be locked behind the door. I wanna help myself be an independent man. I don't know what to give me a helping hand. Whether you're black, whether you are white, I don't give a damn. I just wanna be alright. I'm free, I'm free, yeah, I'm free.
I was the first chairman of the Caribbean Copyright Organizations. I hear a lot of people today talking about copyright and getting praises and credits for being, but I am the person who was the forefront of the copyright, and all of the artists from my era will attest to that. There are various names here now that they're taking credit. I was the one who told Michael Manley when he asked me what he could do for me, and I told him, you couldn't do anything for me. but you could do something for my colleagues and myself. If you give us a copyright law, then we'll have access to international conventions and other societies. And I was the one who went to Vivian Blake, who was the Minister of Industry. I was the only artist there representing the copyright situation with all these other Sonia Pottinger, Federal Records, Dynamic Records. All these people went, and I was the only person who went representing the artist. And surely they gave the manufacturers the edge. They didn't want us to have any copyright because that's where the money was coming from. So all these manufacturers screamed off our copyrights before we were able to have proper registration done. A lot of them have even tried stealing our songs. These producers, Coxsons, Pottinger, and all these people, when you record your songs, they take a part of the publishing because they were more hip to what was happening in the legal aspect of things. So, and as a person who was an intense advocate of copyright, I was becoming immensely political. Well, the music today is riding on. It is progressing. There are aspects of it that some of us are not fond of. But for as wide and far-reaching that the music has become, how do you fault that? How do you negate that? The music is being listened to, viewed, and bought up by people all over the world. So as far as what people call rap or dance hall is concerned, so you can question some of the contents, lyrical contents. You could do that in my era too, and successive eras. My take on the matter is that every generation has to have its say. My generation, my parents were not in agreement with the kind of music we were doing because they used to call it rag music, rag or reggae, rag songs. Once you weren't singing something spiritual, you were singing rag song. And if you were singing rag song, you was going to give your soul to the devil. No one talked about the fact that there was a living to be made there. It was an avenue for expression. So, and we stuck to it, and it is now history. One of the commodities that Jamaica clings to because it's so vibrant. And so the same goes for this generation. I mean, this is how they feel, this is what they live, these are their experiences, and this is the medium through which they express this experience.
I've got to go back home. This couldn't be my home. It must be somewhere else, or I would kill myself because can't get no clothes to wear, can't get no food to eat, can't get a job to get bread. That's why I've got to, if I've got to walk, if I've got to run, there is no gladness, nothing but sadness, nothing like a future here. I've got to leave this land, I've got to find myself on some other side. I just can't stand this life of living because can't get no clothes to wear, can't get no food to eat, can't get a job to get bread. That's why I've got to, if I've got to walk, if I've got to run, somewhere else, or I will kill myself because can't get no clothes to wear, can't get no food to eat, can't get a job to get bread. That's why I've got to, if I've got to walk, if I've got to fly, if I've got to run, if I've got to swim, this could never, never be my home. Never, never be my home. This could never, never be my home. This could never, never be my home. Never, 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 never be my home. Couldn't be my home. Got to go where the land is green. Got to go where I get some food, peace of mind, and love. Got to go back home. I really got to go back home. I really got to go back home. I really got to go back. Really got to go. I really got to go back home. Now.
What's that to us, me the friend, just take off the below. One time did sit down in a class and report, then only set the road and me go on with the road.
Jamaica, the land of Bob Marley, Marcus Messiah Garvey, Usain Bolt, and of course, Reggae Month, the only month-long reggae music festival on planet Earth, where something reggae happens every day in the month of February, ranging from mega reggae concerts, reggae award ceremonies, and educational symposia on reggae.
Yeah, MC, blessings fall, memorizing.
February is Reggae Month. Reggae Month is February, when Jamaica invites the world to come to Mecca, Reggae Mecca, and come catch the rhythm like no place else on earth, only in Jamaica.
And that's how I made to give him the door. Breathe, I'm in the lies. And Jah knows I'm a passion ignites. Got the music get me excited. I'm coming like a boat.
Who are fans of reggae music, just come out and support Reggae Month. Whatever we're doing, whatever we're keeping, just come out and support us. Because this is Jamaica and this is where reggae is from.
It is Reggae Month. Make sure you come out and celebrate in every Reggae Month event. A Fiwi music, it is massive. It is powerful. Come out and celebrate Reggae Month.
Today, we are read from Matthew 6, 16 to 18. When you no keep away from food for worship God, nobody long down on the face like the hypocrite them. Them ugly up themselves so people will see say a fast them a fast. Me tell you this, and a true me attack, them now not more get. When you no keep away from food for worship God, oil on your head and wash on your face, man. So everybody knows say a fast or no a fast. But Uncle God one when nobody can see. And on Father when nobody can see, we see what uno do and give uno what uno forget. Matthew 6, 16 to 18.